Okay, I think this is about where we were.
わかりました。
Mio Takano-san is my partner. There's no question about that. She's also kind of a freak, but I just can't trust her. It's her extremities as a researcher which contrast largely with mine. But are we so different? I'm here simply waiting with a knife and fork in my hands, just as she told me to. I just don't want to witness such a gruesome scene, that's all. What she's preparing for me now is exactly what I want. Who's the hypocrite? Not her. It's me. How can I say I'm different, knowing what I've done in the past? I perform lobotomies without the patient's consent, despite it being surgery that might affect their life forever. How is that different from what she's doing? I've never doubted my past achievements. However, when I look at her, I start to feel unease. Takano-san is talking to Okonagi-san on the intercom in my office. I'm sure she's telling him to come over so she can explain to him what was just discussed. I'm simply watching without stopping her. I begin to reflect upon my past, to remember why I chose to become a doctor. So, as we already knew, Mio Takano is kind of a freak, but that's okay. That's why we had a murder basement put into our into our hospital, just in case we needed to keep somebody down there for a little while. All right, let's learn about Jiro Tomitake. I'm guessing by the fact that it says we need these fragments first, these are sort of like, it doesn't really matter what order these are done in. We just need to know all of them in order to get anything further on. And I would assume that the ones that are you required to get so-and-so first are, you wouldn't really understand the story if you didn't have the previous ones done ahead of time. I think I also saw something about, like a stalled research is required in one of them, so maybe we can look at that now that we've seen that last, scene. Anyway, the forecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening, but I didn't think it would rain so hard. We decided to wait at an abandoned bus stop for the rain clouds to clear.
ごめんよ、高野さん。
いいのよ、気にしないで、次郎さん。私も土砂降りになるかもしれないことを覚悟の上で出かけたんだから。
Takano-san giggled. Although she said the weather might change suddenly, I dragged her out here. I feel stupid for making her come along and ended up ruining her precious day off. I have to go back to Tokyo tonight, so it'll be a while before I can return to Hinamizawa. I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel in Okinomiya, so I asked her to go for a stroll.
いや、本当に申し訳ない。
She teased me for a while, but only a little. She wasn't actually enjoying driving me into a corner. That's just her way of communicating, and I find it very charming. I think I've become captivated by her. But on her part, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's why she's being nice to me, and it's definitely not because she likes me personally. So I feel like I might have used my position to drag her out here, and that makes me a little depressed. I probably should think this slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold. But she was the type of person who made it clear when she disliked something. She wouldn't say so directly, but she would use all kinds of indirect expressions that meant the same thing. So I want to believe she's out here, because she might be even a little bit attracted to me. I shook my head as I frowned upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckled as though she knew what I was thinking. I felt myself starting to go red after that.
次郎さんも不思議な人ね。 東京ではさぞや女性にモテるでしょうに。なぜわざわざ私みたいなおかしな女に付き合ってくださるのかしら。
おかしななんてことはないよ。高野さんは十分魅力的だよ。むしろ僕みたいな男のために貴重な休日を割いてもらったのが申し訳ないくらいだ。
確かに私はとても大切な研究のために生涯を捧げたつもりだけど、それだけじゃ人生は潤いがないのよ。たまには頭を切り替えて遊ぶことも大事だし、それに異性とのコミュニケーションは脳の活性にもとてもいいんだから。
I think she might be hitting on you.
僕ごときで高野さんの頭の気分転換のお役に立ててるならいいんだけどね。
あなたは私と一緒にいても気分転換にはならない。
She gives me an impish smile that makes my heart skip a beat. I tried hiding my embarrassment so she wouldn't notice even my ears going red.
そんなことないよ。僕も高野さんと一緒に過ごせるといろいろと気分転換になるよ。それにほら、高野さんに野鳥撮影のことを布教すれば僕も撮影の同志を得られるわけだしね。もしよかったら次に来るときは僕の古いカメラを持ってくるよ。買うと高いからね。
ありがとう。あなたを虜にする野鳥撮影がどれくらい楽しいのかぜひ教えていただけると嬉しいわ。ぜひ次の機会には野鳥撮影の散策にご一緒したいわね。じゃあ
うん。僕のフルで少し挑戦してみて馴染めそうだったら新しいカメラを買う方がいいんじゃないかな。東京に戻ったら送るよ。
ありがとう。次に来てくださるときはぜひ私の写真の批評をお願いするわね。
どんな写真か楽しみだな。
きっと二郎さんみたいにはいかないわ。
Jeez, I think she really is hitting on him.
初めてですもの。
While she keeps her cool and smiles, all I can do is blush and scratch my head. Am I being conceited? I can't help but think that Takano-san likes being with me. If it's mere flattery, I don't think she'd come along this far. Oh, no, no, no. Taking women's flattery seriously is the mistake I always make. I shouldn't assume that she's attracted to me.
そういえばこうして二郎さんと二人きりでゆっくりおしゃべりをするのは初めてね。
そうだね。いつも所長とか他の研究員の人とかがいたりする
私あなたのことを全然知らないの。あなたが東京でどんな仕事をしているかとか今までどんなことをしてきたのかとか自衛隊ではどんな活躍をされているのかしら。
昔ちょっとだけ教官の真似事をしてたけどね。怪我をした時に目をやっちゃってね。普段の生活には支障はないんだけど大ごとに受け取られちゃって、それ以来は事務屋の仕事ばかりやらされてるんだよ。
Takano-san giggles, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury.
それでね、体内の広報誌を作る仕事を手伝った時にイベントの写真撮影で初めてカメラの魅力を知ったんだよ。カメラには人を幸せにする力があるのさ。何を言ってるんだろうって思ってるだろうけど、いやこれは本当なのさ。僕はカメラに触れるようになってから日々に幸せを感じるようになったと思ってるよ。
カメラでどうして幸せになれるのかしら。
カメラというのは日々の生活を切り取って写真にして残すものなんだ。残すくらいなんだから幸せなものを写したいというのは当然だろ。じゃあ幸せなものはどこにあるんだろうとファインダー越しに自分の周りの世界を覗いてみると、そこには今まで当たり前だと思っていたものが実は とても幸せなものだったんだと気づくことでいっぱいなんだ。例えば路肩のアスファルトの隙間からけなげに生えている一輪のタンポポだって、忙しく通り過ぎる時にはただの雑草に過ぎないけれど、ファインダー越しに覗いた時、それは春の訪れを教えてくれる季節からの素敵な贈り物であったことに気づけるんだよ。それを写真に収めアルバムに残す。そしてアルバムを再び開くたびにその時の幸せな気持ちがよみがえってくるんだ。
二郎さんは風景や野鳥の撮影をしながらそんな気持ちに浸っているの？
その写真が芸術的かどうかとか、賞を取れるような劇的瞬間かどうかなんていう野心的なことは僕にとってあまり重要じゃないんだよ。僕たちが気づかない小さな幸せに気づかせてくれ、そこにこそカメラの魅力があるんだと思ってるんだ。だからそんな気持ちでこのひなみ沢をファインダーで覗けることはとても楽しくて幸せなことなんだよ。
I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk. But most of the time, Takano-san playfully twists my words right back at me. So it's very unusual for her to listen to me like this. Takano-san sat down next to me and tried to fiddle with my camera. I don't know how much of an impression I made, but I think she is indeed interested in cameras. I was expecting her to tease me like usual, so I'm happy to see that this is her reaction.
ちょっと試してみるかい？
私にもできるかしら？
簡単だよ。最初はピントの合わせ方とシャッターの押し方だけ覚えれば十分さ。持ってごらん。ああ、レンズには絶対に触れちゃダメだよ。
ブー、簡単じゃないじゃない。
Man, she is hitting on you hardcore. Since she seemed to show an interest in cameras, I wanted to take a walk around Hinamizawa and take some pictures of the scenery. But unfortunately, the rain doesn't seem to want to stop. But she was still having fun and kept taking pictures inside the bus stop. So the first set of pictures she ever took were of odd things in that dark little building. Since then, every time we'd meet, we'd ended up walking around the village with our cameras in our hands. Yeah, I don't know about you, but she's definitely interested right there. Good one. Really drew her in with that camera stuff. You nerd. Alright. I want to go back really quick. See if I can find that one. That I was looking at before. The research needs to have stagnated. I'm not entirely sure if that's what happened, but maybe that's what happened. Although we also need kidnapping operation of the minister's grandson as well. So we can't do that yet, but I just wanted to see what it said. So we can do both of these. A local explanatory meeting.
でしてダムの建設事業に伴う地域振興や地域産業の育成などですね。
そんなことは聞いてねえっつってんだろ。
俺らの誰の断りがあってダムなんか作ろうって言い出したかって聞いてんだ。
おう、わしらから税金絞るだけ絞っといてそれに対する返事がこれっちゅうんか。ほんどりゃ誰の税金で給料もらったんじゃ。
ですから先ほどから申し上げておりますように、
言い訳など聞いちゃならんねえ。いつ計画を中止するんか聞いとるんじゃい。
お前じゃ話にならん。東京の建設大臣を連れてこい。ここではっきり白黒つけちゃう。
こなんか国家役人が大体踊れら人様の税金で仕事しとってなんでわしらより高い段で話をしとるんじゃ。目線で話さんかい、目線で。
The auditorium is filled with angry shouting. The sign at the entrance says, Hinamizawa Dam Construction Explanatory Meeting. Every time the official on the stage tried to say anything, the citizens packed into the room silenced him with their shouts. Trying to ignore them, the official continued to explain the pros of the dam, but that just further infuriated them. Between the stage and the citizens, there was an open area where a police squad is standing by. If they weren't there, the citizens would jump onto the stage and start a riot. I'm watching all this from the back of the auditorium. I do find it kind of interesting that all of these so far have been from the different perspective of these different characters. It's obvious to anyone that they're being swallowed by their anger. They become filled with a bloody red rage. The anger that came from a certain purpose becomes a purpose in itself, and it creates a vicious cycle where anger leads to more anger. Anger is a necessary emotion for humans. People face many difficulties in their lives. Anger gives them the motivation to fight and conquer such difficulties. Therefore, anger is an essential part of life itself. So I will never reject anger itself. However, anger like this, that goes far beyond normal, makes people forget their purpose. That is no longer an essential part of life. As the blood rushes to their head, a person can't even remember what they've done. They go out of control. Such emotions are very painful, sad, and difficult to endure. I can clearly see the villagers who live alongside us turning into demons. I understand the rules of the human world. The power of an individual can't be compared to the power of the government. To be able to fight, an individual needs to become part of a larger, unified power. But to steer that unified power in the right direction is extremely difficult. The cycle of anger leads to more anger. Not anger that helps you live, but anger that exists only for anger. It's just like being a demon. And this emotion is capable of violently rousing us from our long, peaceful slumber. Everyone is immersed in their own anger. We lived peacefully with the villagers while we slept quietly. Yet now we've awakened, and it's like the world is trying to return to that age when demons were said to rise from Onigafuchi Swamp. I keep shouting at everyone to get them to calm down, but my voice can't reach them because of the vicious cycle of anger. Even so, I'll continue shouting, hoping even one of them will hear my voice. Because if I don't do anything, the demons may awaken. The demons that went into a deep sleep may reawaken because of this commotion. Then all of a sudden the atmosphere changed. Looking up, I saw that the angry exchange between villagers and those on the podium had devolved into confrontation between the villagers themselves. What's going on?
じゃかましいわ。そりゃオンドレの都合やんね。勝手にそういうにせんといてんだクソババア。
繁盛すったらんはアホンドレ。もう一旦抜かしよってからにこのやから。
おう。てめえ、お涼さんと知っててその口聞いとるんかいな。上等きっちゃら。おい。名乗るかいおい。かましいわ。その崎がなんぼのもんじゃい。わしゃ北条じゃ。ご主人着は引っ込んどらんか。
This sounds a lot like Satoko's uncle. I guess her dad and the uncle would be brothers, right? So maybe that makes a little bit of sense why they sound similar.
おお、北条のなまぬかしよった。ようも村を沈めちゃる言えるの。お前なんぼで村を撃った。
黙らんか死に損ないが。いいんか。南沢には貧乏にも大勢おるん。お前んとこみたいに山に畑をうなるほど持ってる地主とわけが違う。わしゃ国の報奨金で十分満足しとった。町の公営住宅も手配してくれるっちゅうし、なんも不足はなかった。 それをオンドレラが全部ちゃぶ台ひっくり返しちゃったんだ。オドレラ地主の都合で人まで巻き込むなや。そんなに国と喧嘩せんかったらオドレが一人でやれ。したらん銭は誰が払うんね。オドレかいな。うちはな貧乏だし育ち盛りが二人もおるん。おとなしゅう国から銭をもろうて職を斡旋してもろうて人生再設計ちゅうとこなんや。それを踊れはなんじゃ。いつからお前はわしの代表になったんじゃ。お前そんなに偉いんか。あ
おうおうおう北条のようも抜かした
おうおう
この裏切り者がなら村から出てけ出てけ。
おう出ていったらもちろんそれに見合う銭はお前が払うんじゃろうな。わしが国からもらい損ねた銭きっちり都合つけてくれるんじゃろうな。なあ村から出とうとも銭がないんじゃ。踊りが払うんならすぐにでも出たったろわ。
北条の言う通りだ。立ち退いてもいいと思ってる住民もいるんだぞ。御三家は俺たちを巻き込むな。
おうおう、なんじゃ今抜かしたのは誰じゃ。名乗らんかボケ。
残りたいやつ勝手に残ればいいだろうが。立ち退きも権利じゃ。勝手に人様の権利に干渉すんなこのダラズが。そうじゃそうじゃ。その先のクソババアはすっこんでね。
ああ、もちろんダム計画に同意してくださる方には見合う保証を用意いたしております。決して土地の搾取ではありませんので。
黙れ役人ボケ。おんどりゃ村真っ二つに策を魂胆かい。死ねや北条。村の空気を吸う資格はねえ。今すぐ息止めて死ね。
なめんなボケがぶっ殺したら前に出るクソババア。おいおいおい、引っ込まんかいデカポリ。
よう抜かした。よう抜かした北条のこの園崎お涼。久々に頭血のぼってきよったわ。きっちりけじめ取らしてもらうかんな。
Hey, is it getting any red? Is it getting real red in here to anyone else?
よう楽しみに待っとれや。
北条やれやれ。国は俺たちに仕事と住みかと金を与えろ。
こらこら、やめなさい暴力は。お互いやめてやめて。
すったら上等じゃ。恩師が出てこんかいな。
Everyone is being tainted with a bloody red anger, and I can only watch. The least I can do is to apologize for the tragedy that is about to happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is how things started. From this day onward, the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family will wage a feud against each other, and the Hojo family will become ostracized within the village. This marks the beginning of Satoko and Satoshi's lives of tremendous hardship. It all came from that. I wonder if that counted for the apologies one that was required. What was it? One of these ones that like had a picture of blood, I think. Or maybe not. Thought it had blood. Oh, repetitive apologies. I wonder, that's probably not it. I don't think that was repetitive enough. Anyway, I think, let's see, we have, I think, 3 more. think we'll do one more for today. And then I might come back and do some more later this week. Satoshi Hojo. When I asked Rika-chan, she said Satoko might have possibly gone up to the mountain behind the shrine. She's fond of going there. That mountain is covered with trees, vines, and fallen logs, and she really likes the area. Any child would dream of having a secret base. And to Satoko, her secret base is the whole mountain. However, the mountains were an undeveloped territory, making them a dangerous place that was easy to get lost in. As her brother, I'm a little concerned that she spends so much time on it. But maybe I should worry more about myself getting lost since I rarely come here. The mountain gets dark quickly when evening falls. If I still can't find her, I should look for her somewhere else.
Satoko! Satoko!
I'm yelling as loud as I can, but in the woods, my voice doesn't carry that well. According to Rika-chan, she's been making her secret base in this area. She goes up there alone to expand it. What does she mean by expand it? If it's a secret base, she must not want anyone to find it. Does that mean she set up some traps? Considering that, I should have noticed the traps in the mountain before one got me. Suddenly my foot sunk into the ground and snagged in something like a jump rope tied between the dried leaves. I heard some noise from up above, and then a big ball made of branches fell right next to me. It had to be one of the playful traps Satoko loved. If I wasn't so lucky, I'm sure the ball would have hit my head.
あらあらあら、どなたが現れたかと思えば、ニーニーではありませんの。
サトコ、ダメだよこんな遊びは。危ないじゃないか。
この先は危険だから入ってはいけないってエリン書の看板がちゃんとあったはずでございましたよ。それを無視する方には素敵なトラップの大歓迎がお待ちしておりましたよ。
As your brother, I should stop her from doing things like this. But when I see her brilliant smile, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen that smile in some time.
それよりサトコ、今日は家族みんなで食事に出かけるから、夕方までには家に戻りなさいって言われてたじゃないか。
別に私、お食事なんか行きたくありませんわ。お母さんとお父さんが二人で行けばいいんじゃありませんの？行きたければニーニーも一緒に三人で行けばいいんですわ。
まだお父さんのこと怒ってるのかい？違うだろう。
Our previous father? He locked me out on the veranda. He didn't feed me lunch. He complained I got him the wrong brand of cigarettes, then he slapped my face saying I shouldn't be a picky eater.
それから。
She must be talking about Uncle, right? She isn't talking about her current stepfather. Things about all of our different stepfathers have mixed themselves up in her head. Every time my mother remarried... Oh, I see. Every time my mother remarried, we had to call a different man her father. The word father isn't a word that should be taken lightly. If you don't truly acknowledge a man as your father, how can you call him that? That's how much weight it carries. However, just to make things smooth and peaceful, I used the word father, even if I didn't want to. But it was too difficult for Satoko, young as she was, to do the same. Ever since Satoko was very little, she's been having troubles with all her stepfathers. She's never opened up to our current one. To Satoko, a father figure is no longer someone she can trust. It's true that her current stepfather doesn't have any experience being a parent, so he sometimes gets rather upset with her. But ever since the incident where Satoko called the child abuse hotline, Our stepfather regretted his mistakes and tried his best to communicate with her. Even my mother realized how much Satoko has suffered emotionally when it was pointed out by the social worker. She's doing her part in trying to bring Satoko back into the family. But Satoko completely refuses to even try. It's understandable, though. Her childhood has been filled with misery. Satoko can only open up to me. That's why I have to be the one and only family member she can trust. Otherwise, she'll be all alone in this world. But a brother and sister alone can't be considered a family. Even if we don't get along now, if we continue to communicate, even in a small way, we may be able to become a real family someday.
サトコ、今のお父さんはだんだん優しくなってきたよ。サトコと仲直りしたいっていつも言ってる。
そんなの聞いたことありませんわ。
お父さんがそれを言おうとするとサトコが逃げちゃうからだよ。お父さんももっとサトコと話をしたがってる。もうかぼちゃを無理やり食べさせたりはしないって言ってたよ。
嘘ですわ。かぼちゃを食べるまでは食卓から出ていっちゃダメって何度も注意されましたわ。
Again, she isn't talking about her current stepfather.
サトコ、とにかくニーニーと一緒に家に帰ろう。せっかくお母さんが福引きで当てたお食事券が無駄になっちゃうよ。予約制だから今日行かないと無効になっちゃう。
ニーニーだけで行けばいいんですわ。私は一人でお留守番してるのが好きなんですの。
Satoko usually doesn't stay out playing this late. She knows we're going out, and that's why she's out here alone. Although I want to snap at Satoko, I controlled myself. Because she only has me. I can't scare her.
とにかくサトコ、帰ろう。食事に一緒に行くかどうかは帰ってから決めてもいいんじゃないかな。それにサトコに案内してもらわないと僕家に帰れない。
ニーニー、あれだけ何度も一緒に連れてってあげましたのに、まだここが覚えられませんの？まったくしょうがないニーニーですわね。
Satoko holds out her hand. She often said she's embarrassed to hold my hand in front of people, but she's holding out her hand right now. I took that hand. Satoko's fragile hand. I have to protect her as her big brother.
帰ろう、サトコ。
ええ。
Alright, I think that's good enough for today. Obviously, like I said, we have quite a few of these to go through still. I estimate, if these are all going to be roughly 10 minutes, which they seem to be, and I got through about 5 to 6 of them here. Oh boy, this is going to take us a long time. That being said, that's probably the story this time, because we're still getting, the regular story, but instead of it being kind of a more linear story, like we're used to getting, this is kind of going over lots of different aspects of things that are happening at the same time. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Depending on how I'm doing, I may come back later on this week and do a little bit more, to try to accelerate it some more, Anyway, I'll see you guys next time for some more Higurashi. Bye!